All right, here we go again. Buckle up. We're going to try to smooth out those rough roads. So, got a little overcast. Hopefully the sun comes. So it was actually supposed to be sunnier today. Yesterday it was actually sunnier than it was supposed to be, but it's supposed to be sunnier today. Actually, it's clearing over there, so it'll probably clear. A bit of early morning clouds. That was a rough night. I don't know what's doing it for sure, but again, there's a lot of moisture, so it could be mold and something like that, and dust and dander. I see this guy in a long time. He's got an American flag on his patio. Disappeared for a while. It was just his winter home, or summer home, or midwinter home. What are you wearing? So everything looks great. I didn't look at Mike's page. I did because it wasn't coming out. Chrissy Noam is being put out there more than she comes out up for views more than Mike Banks. It might be because haven't been on Mike's page all that much. Right. I'll move around as I see. It's just feel. I guess it's more. I guess CC. That there's maybe a reason. So again, the message is great, but try to get away from repetitive messaging of the same thing. It's kind of like talking point in an election works better than talking point while you're the government. Well, she's like everywhere, and it's the same message, which is nothing wrong with that. But and it's funny, like last night, she was just trying to get her message out, and it just kept going around in circles. So somebody was probably wheeling her down. I don't know if it was live or not, but she like went round and round and finally got the message out. You have to be careful. Again, sometimes your up, your seeing, your down works, which means you take the hits, metaphysical hits, as people hating on you while you're presenting the message. And then at a certain point, somebody else picks up and presents the message. And again, also just always seeing her instead of seeing someone else. So, like, that same message can be spoken by several figures within government. Again, each one's going to say it a little different. So remember, try to use plain English, not MAGA English. I mean, for some people, you use MAGA English because that's the MAGA faithful or whatever it is. Right? But the swing voter is very important, and that's what you want. That's how you want swing voters, but they're fickle. Right? So you have to talk. You can't always talk MAGA to the swing voter. That's an Eminem song, talking rap, talking MAGA. you make it a MAGA song like that. Well, again, you're asking for the name of the J6 investigators. You fired somebody who sat on a process of an FBI agent that was fired for being at J6. There's a court truth to all that. Like you're out there, you're out politicking and doing all that, and that's different than a courtroom truth. So the person you fired actually fired him right. I'm just trying to tell you this. In fact, again, like no FBI agent is guaranteed their job any day. It's generally how it is. Right? There's so many ways to just, right? But you have to go through the process. But again, that process is no longer available really because you retaliated. That's the courtroom truth. Again, you're living in MAGA world or something. I don't know what it is. Again, maybe that, the election just, that's where you all were. There's no doubt you've already lost Michigan. You've lost parts of Georgia, lost parts of Florida. And then you got Arabic people that are in your process. And again, they're close to you, they're wealthy, they really don't care that much, but you're making them look stupid in front of the people. Right. So you remember Shifty Shift? He's licking his chops. He's a senator now. I see you, Shift. Go away. Right. Correct, Larry. You've already gummed up the works. Right. Well, I'm operational. I'm an operational person. Like I said, I was in the Marshal Service. I didn't call internal. I think everybody else in my office called internal at least once. Right. The deep state tried to kill you. I tried to save you. I didn't know it was the deep state. We didn't call it that back then. Again, Goose saved me. Right. I saved Goose before. Right. Thank you, Lance. Again, I guess Matt was lucky I was his partner when they were trying to do him, because I'm not going to turn on him. Right. If you had somebody like people I was speaking about, they've been making up statements about you. Right. Is that woman in California? There's an ex-Marine over here and his wife. She's from California. Yeah, that's the Healer there, Heal the dog there. Thank you, Larry. A lot around. Oh, that's not her. Who is that? It's a different dog. What idea that is? I have to heal that person anyway. So that's like sometimes you mistakenly heal the wrong person or something. It's the right person. One of the metaphysical things. God bless you, sir. Yeah, I think if that guy would have cleaned out my left that bone spur on my lower spine, I think that would have worked. Again, I couldn't see it then. And I don't know. I could have been drugged. I don't know. All those years. They were hitting me pretty hard. I mean, they've been torturing me for years. It's torture. I mean, it just really is. I knew nothing about that until, a certain point. Like, because it started opening up, Project Artichoke, MK Ultra, Prisoner of War Camp Technology. Wonder who was projecting that. Thank you, Larry. Well, like, people in the CIA, they all aren't the same people. And although they can't say anything or do anything in their life or they'll be destroyed, they can project metaphysically. So they can send you messaging. And you can send them messaging. What up? How you doing? So there's people in there, real people. In fact, some were just, I know there's women in FBI who were just so broke up about everything that happened to me. I know, and I guess FBI, but CIA is what I meant, but it came out that way, so it's probably both agencies. Well, because I was really just looking for a wife and to fix my life and go to church. That's really what it was when it all came down to it. When I left the Marshal Service, right? I mean, I actually was doing that before I left the Marshal Service, but really I was doing that when I left, like crazy. Like, how do I do this? How do I break through? Right? And I was drugged. There's a memory I have of somebody freaking out while I was drugged, and they looked. I, I think it was like an undercover person. They were freaking out because they may not have known I was drugged, but they knew there was an issue, right? Thank you, Larry. Now they had no right in my life. They should have just let it happen. It would have happened peacefully. Right? No, because like people like Slick were in there, they would just say there was no other answer other than what they were doing. I don't know. A woman looked at me. Who is that? Actually, I may have saw her before, and like you don't see somebody for like months sometimes, even though you live in the same development. Right? Thank you, Larry. Well, again, right. A lot of agents can be sympathetic to what Trump is saying, right, and what Trump wants to do. Again, you have to get to like the Reagan part of it, where you're actually doing what you say you're doing. Right? We're minimizing. Like if you go to Reagan's farewell speech, I think it is, and he speaks about minimizing government with an honest intention. Again, the courts are going to find it funny that Elon's there because Elon's a player in government contracts and other things. I don't think it's going to last. I mean, again, there's a process in government that's again the idea. This is the best way to explain it. You have a database of information. My information is in there. The judge's clerk's information is in there. The judge's information is in there too. Right. Right. The judge's information is in there. You don't solely own that government database. There's an agreement between us. Now, the judge knows that Elon Musk has access to his database or to his private information. And possibly, again, I'm making jokes about H-1B guys. I don't know who they are. That's like worst case scenario, right? Don't worry about who I am. No, I do not work for intelligence in India. I am H-1B. There is definitely a private effort, and it may be a government effort also, in India to place their people in the United States above us, the American citizen. Thank you, Larry. Maybe they feel that's the case system or whatever it is. Again, I'm a demigod. That's how I transfer into their religion, so I really give a shit what they say. And I've already been through their communities and things like that. Thank you, Larry. Again, if they fail, see how God set you all up by giving me all these titles before I got here? Because if your system was honest, I would have. When I was around Indian people, I would have rose completely to the top. Right. I don't know which one I am for sure. I know I'm the demigod law from Egypt, but there's one. I'm sure I'm one in the Hindu thing. There's talk that I was Balaram, but I don't know. Oh my God. So again, God knows your systems are false when I plug in. So again, that's what intelligence does. That's intelligence operations. Right. Not saying that there's that side of it, like where they are going to spy by some hostile political takeover. No, I'm telling you right now, like you're you're deep state now. Elon Musk is deep state right now. Right. To a judge, Elon Musk is deep state. Do you see what's forming? It's like the judge may not have known who was blackmailing him or extorting him all those years, or trying to, right? But now, since you have access, it'll be seen as you. Or even if it's not seen as you, he sees the judge, he or she sees a compromising of that database. So you have to remember the judges are in these databases that you're accessing. Running around saying it's good to be the king. Their family members' names and some identifiers are in that database. Oh my God. Some of those agents and officers, agents and I guess some officers too, but agents, officers, and DOJ people, the judge knows them longer than they've known, some of them longer than they've known Elon Musk existed. I'm just telling you, I don't agree to everything that's happened, but you're all setting yourselves up for failure. Just like when I told you to stay away from all those gangs, because then you wouldn't have to pardon anybody. You may have actually did your... Because if you stayed away from the gangs a year and a half earlier, you may not have went down to that level of not being reelected. Right there. I think she's funny. They think you're funny. God. Why don't I just shut up? That's not going to happen. You took my health. I told you not to. You're just lucky you're still standing on this planet. But that could change in a day. Anyway. So again, that's another point. Now you have all this extra stuff coming at you. You've lost part of Wall Street. These people were upping you, thinking you were going to do the right thing. Right. The people on Wall Street wondering if they're going to be in the unemployment line. Right. Again, I don't know what you're really doing because I'm not in your meetings. But it doesn't look good. So you've lost the Arabic community. You've lost part of Wall Street. You've lost a certain number of judges. I don't know how many MAGA faithful people are in, government, but like law enforcement, but probably losing them. Well, you just insulted all of them, so they didn't even come to work. They can't tell you that they were working 60, 70 hours and, not 40 hours in the office, but, 40 hours on the street, because they don't want to get that notice. And maybe that's how you think you want to rule, but I'm telling you, it's not going to work. Because every time you turn around, somebody's going to try to screw you and screw your administration. It's kind of weird weather-wise. It just got, I told you it was nice, and it just got cold. Trying to see when it. Oh, it's still going up. I guess 12. It's still early. All right. 12, it'll be warmer. Way warmer. 11 degrees warmer. Then tomorrow's going to be cold. 42 and 51. It doesn't look too bad. It's not. I mean, it's not like it's bad, right? Most of the lows are above 30 in the next week or two. That was our highs were like what, 20 or something. Some days 16. Right, so we're past that. But I don't want to do another winter up here. Right. I should, I really screwed up. Again, my problem was that I didn't have like a house or something where I could get my license, have it come back to that place, right? Because, I could travel. It'd be like almost a snowbird, right? But I couldn't do it because, I have to change my license when I move. Thank you, Mary. Mel, being a retired law enforcement guy, has its drawbacks. Right. Right. Not because I'm trying to be honest and abide by the law. A lot of other people go, who cares, Right. And probably never get prosecuted. Right. Thank you. Well, it's a form of homelessness to a certain degree, I guess, but right. Well, again, they kept my mind busy and just moved it around in other directions. I couldn't get anywhere. I should have, I probably could have purchased a house early on. Right. And I tried. I mean, I did by 2012. By 2010, I think I had looked at a couple places in Florida that were, from the downturn were within my price range. But right. Thank you, sir. No, it makes me feel old to look at what's Driz. To look at when he came in the government, it's like when I was leaving. All right. Thank you, Larry. Again, you don't see yourself, aging and other things when they do this. It's a scam, right? It's a scam that government and the PIs waged against me. It's spycraft is what they use. Yeah, Driz looks cool. I think he's a good guy. I don't know. Hopefully he is. Probably just now you're going to be destroyed. Well, the fact is, if I talk to Bondi, are they killing her? I kind of wonder. I told you that happens, right? Right. Because I don't see her anywhere. No, well, what Trump should know is that Bondi is really the person he needs or somebody like that, because Bove is getting him in trouble. That's why I want Bo to go back in the other direction so we can, we can get along, everybody, and we get our missions done, right? It's perfect cartels. We fight ourselves, Right. Those are one of the deep state suspects too, as being part of the deep state. Right. The cartels. Right. Well, eye for an eye. Based upon what, again, if that's all we were doing, that's fine. But we have so much we want to do. Well, what's her name? Bondi. She just by the nature that she said, "Well, I'm going to look at each case." She knows how you're supposed to do it. Right? I have no idea what government Bo worked in. It's not the one I was in. Right? Because it's just like I think Driz said it. He's like, he's like, well, most people. There's a process. Most people, we go through the process. We fire them. Right. Thank you, Larry. Now I know Southern New York was dirty, so anybody in Southern New York I don't trust. And again, that's just the way it is. Right. Again, you may have been in Southern New York. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but they're dirty. So again, they may not know. He may not know. Right. I'm serious. He's just trying to do it the Southern New York way. Right. They did me dirty. Well, even while I was in the Marshal Service. Right. How you doing? Well, theoretically, if we do this right, and again, you got to do the civil affairs, and you have to do. So I got to bring it up on Kristi Noem's page, so she can ask you about it, right? So Hegseth, or somebody from Hegseth, should have somebody go to DHS and meet. I don't know, because you got people under Kristi Noem, and they may be the people to meet with. But again, she should know about this. About civil affairs and PSYOP. Again, she has heard some of that before. But if we do it right, while we're reducing the numbers, we have some people that feel comfortable enough to speak to us about a few things. We just start discovering additional crimes, right, based upon green card program. Again, don't throw that away because somebody abused it, right? Generally, the use I know of, again, I'm not telling you it's not the right use. You decide that. I'm not the agency. But the appropriate use was generally for organizations, criminal organizations, right? Like smugglers, narcotics distributors, human traffickers, that kind of thing, right? Sex traffickers. So you get your green card if you inform on an organization. That's the preferable, I guess, application. And that's what we want to happen. So all the anger against the deportation operations needs to be switched up. We need to get a little bit of emotion in there and a little motion in there as far as informants. Right. So when we reduce the numbers, something happens. You're getting rid of all these people that are the enforcers. I brought up the enforcers and the racketeering before. A hidden community, a secret society, runs all of these immigrant communities. Some, really aren't unlawful other than, they're not like beating people up, right? Other than, being a little bit oppressive as to, well, not oppressive. The idea is everybody... It's an illegal government is what it really is. I don't know what the crime would be, but right. I guess it's kind of just racketeering or something. Right. Okay, so you get the enforcers out of there so they feel a little more comfortable speaking to us. Right. You reduce the numbers, we can see better. It's just like It's just like, you bring out 1 million officers because you have this big crowd. When you don't have a big crowd, you can see without 1 million officers. Right? I guess that's a fake number, but right. So the civil affairs program can occur covertly. And again, part of the civil affairs program is there's a benefit. So you have Homan, now you have Kristi Noem, getting rid of these people. Somewhere along the line, they need to have a phone number they can call. All right. And of course, I want a video presentation where you have you have these scenarios where you go in and you're doing you're picking up Tren Derega or whatever it is, and then some young woman or young girl pulls you aside, and then you take her information and you treat her well, and right, because she'll be a victim of crime, so she has to be a victim of crime mentality. And then you have your Justice Department what is it, victim witness person. Giving her some food. Remember, the victim witness person could speak Spanish. I would do them in many languages, or at least a few languages. Your predominant languages, right? And then so the green card does it guarantee citizenship once they get it? They go through the process. I have to look that up. Because if it does, then you could do the swearing in at the end with smiley face, maybe a husband, and a little baby. So we've got to try to maintain that, and then that will speed up everything we're doing if that works. Well, when we get rid of the enforcers, you should have just by default a few more informants, right? Thank you, Larry. God bless you, sir. Thank you, Larry. So again, the civil affairs people will look. Again, these are people that may have never worked a law enforcement U.S.-based civil affairs program. Right? You do it in the border. You can do it on the border. You can do it in the communities. They can tell you what kind of advertisements to put out there. Different little things that different even colors can make a difference. When you talk to this person, wear this color. Right. So again, I don't know what level of civil affairs and what level of PSYOP. Again, we're not going to do anything illegal. We're not going to force people. We're not going to torture them, right? But you can, manipulate them in the right direction. Again, of course, if they're an undocumented immigrant, they're on a list to possibly deport. Again, we have people here. There's two processes. There's one is the deportation task forces. Then the people that are here that are waiting on their hearings. So that's always a given. I mean, even under Biden, that was a given that the hearings would come up. Right? And if you remember back in 2021, they're 2 years or 3 years out. Right. Well, that's coming up. And what happens is if they don't show up, they automatically they enter a removal, removal order. Now they can appeal that once they're detained, but it's probably, especially now, it's probably not going to go anywhere. Right. Thank you, Larry. So those people are always going to be deported. So don't get confused about that group of people. Right? That's like a warrant for removal. Right? So for the people that don't show up, I mean, it's just, I don't understand how you would say people that don't show up get to stay. Because that was, years ago. It's like, okay, these people are going to have a hearing in at some point, right? So those people already exist, and they existed under Biden. Remember the deportation fights under Biden? Certain number of people went to their hearing and said, "Hey, do I get my amnesty?" They said no, so they got deported. So that's always going on. That's just everyday ICE business. Right. So again, that's some of what's confusing people. They're going, well, this is a family. Well, that family had a date for a hearing. They didn't show up or they didn't present their case to the level of where they get amnesty. I tend to believe they didn't show up because I think the number was pretty astronomical. The number of people that don't show up. Right. So that's why that guy that FTA'd, where was that? I can't remember what it was. But he did that retail theft. I mean, he wasn't going to show up to the hearing. Right. Right. I don't know what he's going to do now. He's kind of, he may feel obligated to show up now. Right. But I don't know. He might run before then. Thank you, Larry. He would actually they would have had a removal order most likely on him. Right. Now they might be getting to the removal orders a little quicker under Trump, but again, it's a removal order. It's a warrant. It's actually essentially it's paperwork, a warrant to be deported. Right. It's the end of that process they started when they came across. 100%. So don't get confused about that. Again, regular protests, okay. Sitting in the middle of the street and shutting down traffic, no. No, I brought up the flash mob concept and the different things that flash mobs could be used for to, even though it's maybe related to something else, but to frustrate law enforcement operation and patrol and all those type of things and responding to crimes. Right. That's weird. Right. That's weird. Something picked up. Right. There. Oh yeah, I went at 30-minute things. Maybe a buzz. Right. Well, stay